The Center for Political Studies School of Social Sciences JNU was established in 1971 and it has completed its 50 years of glorious presence in academia in 2025. My thoughts get back to founding members with reference who conceived this idea and the later faculty members who continue to pursue the idea forward. It's my pleasure that the event that is 50 years of CPS is coming during my chairperson.
This story of CPS over 50 years is a glorious story. It's a wonderful story of how you build an institution, starting from scratch. And today, when we look back, we can be proud of the achievements of what we have been able to contribute to the discipline, of what our students have been able to contribute to the life, the public life, and the life of the country as a whole.
Well, old campus was very different in the sense that we were all put up in one building and there was no sense of a campus at all. Like we have today, a spread out campus. And also in CPS, many of us shared rooms. I shared a room with Professor Kiran Saxena. Not that I minded it, but what I'm saying is it was very different. The experience there was very different. And we had very small number of students and so on. So shifting to the new campus was a very big step for us.
I did my master's at the Center for Political Studies between 1982 and 1984. And at that time, the classes were in the old campus. So I still remember those big hexagonal halls where we used to have our classes. And it was interesting because we would always travel in this 666 between the hostel and the classes.
In those times, we had a bus called 666, which I think everybody should remember, and recall its fine role in keeping us connected to the rest of the university as well as to go outside.
CPS is a very, very happening, exciting place, both academically as well as socially. You interact with your peer groups as students, as teachers, and between students and teachers, it's a very convivial kind of atmosphere where you can walk into anybody's room and start a conversation.
The JNU campus is physically very beautiful, but socially also very interactive and socially a very friendly place.
The kind of institutional culture in JNU, which I found very different from other universities that I have been a part of. I can, however, draw similarities between JNU and another campus in which I was a student for more than 5 years, which was State University of New York in Binghamton, which was a product of the civil rights movement in the US. And so the kind of diversity of political life in JNU, I think resonates and has similarities with the campus where I was a student.
I joined CPS for the first time in the mid-90s when I was in my late 20s. I was so, age-wise proximate to my students. There was a kind of camaraderie which grew. And we went for field trips here and there. And the kind of intense interaction that I had in JNU at that time, I really regretted that I was never a student here.
When I joined CPS in 1973, we were in what is called the down campus. The up campus, which is the current campus, was in the process of being built. And so from 73 to 1990, we were for a long time in that down campus.
Down campus was also very lively place because it is spread out and it's closer to the shopping, what that little Bird Sarai. and Francis Dhaba was another one, which was earlier known near to SIS building, and the bank and all that. So the entire landscaping of the down campus had a distinctive character. Getting into the bus, getting ready on time, otherwise you will miss the bus. All that brought in some kind of a spatial discipline in us.
I also felt that life would have been very regulated if, between the old and the new campus that time, if the buses were not there. Buses were used as a mode of transport. Very few students had private cars or even motorbikes. The faculty used to cycle, many of the faculty used to cycle from their residence to the campus to teach. And while others would stay in those rooms, in their chambers, till late evening.
This center, let's say in the contemporary circumstances, wherein there are a lot of challenges to the discipline itself and let's say in some senses to the institution of learning, universities as well. So in these circumstances, I think that the role of the Center for Political Studies becomes so important, and the way political science has been conceived by our predecessors, by our senior former colleagues, I think that is something which is very, very fantastic.
The visual and verbal political culture disseminated through posters, and very, very creative posters, very, very artistically powerful posters that have been in circulation by different organizations. Sadly enough, though, that whole culture is being wiped out and sanitized in the name of sanitization of the walls and the campus. But I think that was the first lesson into the politics of protest or the political culture of the institution. When you came to the campus or you came to the center or school and you looked around as if every wall spoke to you about what was going on in the world at that time, what were the issues of concern that you as a citizen must know and participate.
Well, political science is obviously part of the larger social sciences. Central feature which distinguishes it from the other social sciences is the notion of power. How power is used by one actor over other actors at national, international, local levels. Also, there is this whole question of who gets what, when and how, political competition and so on. But having said that, I would say that over the years in CPS and in SSS, I think we have all developed, I would say this of most faculty members, a much wider view of political science.
The term political science means the study of politics, political processes, political theory, political ideas, political institutions. It's basically the study of ideas and politics. Now, the term political science sounds high-sounding, and the whole attempt is basically for the study of politics, which is often not seen to be so scientific, to be made more scientific, like, let us say, disciplines like economics and so on, which are seen to be more organized, methodologically more refined in some ways.
We were teaching political science in a new way, different. Earlier, when we started, it was called the Center for Political Development, Center for the Study of Political Development. Very soon we realized that this was a a sort of a methodological trap, and we didn't want to be trapped in this concept of political development. So we changed the name of the center to Center for Political Studies.
What I really find interesting about political science is this dynamic between projects and processes. So there's the project of democracy and the process of democratization. And this way of, I think, engaging with political science comes from that beginning in the masters with very good teachers, not only in political theory and also in Indian politics and other subdisciplines.
Now, what's very interesting about being a faculty member in CPS is that anything that you discuss, because politics is all about your contemporary, about the public and personal lives around you and so on. You talk about interactions, about power and so on. Now, whatever you say, you will get a counterpoint from somewhere in the class because the experiences are so different. So, a class becomes a learning experience for the teacher, which I think doesn't happen especially in the context of South Asian politics and Indian politics in particular. I don't think there is a better department than CPS where you get more diverse set of students.
Center for Political Studies, looking at political studies as something that draws from life experiences, and how, in particular, one looks at the processes through which power is aggregated in societies, how in its multifarious forms it is experienced, and the ways in which through democratic practices it is sought to be rolled back. And the thrust, of course, is how democracy itself can be lived and structured in institutions through practices.
I recall one of the incidents during my master's where Professor C.P. Hamdi in the classroom said to the new entrants that if you want to roam around, then go to the CP, that is known place. And if you want to become professor like C.P. Hamdi, then you will have to read and learn.